In a world full of shitty movies, there can only be one movie snob. That's me.
Them Duke boys, they got some things to learn. Eastbound and down,
Saving the world,
loaded up
one
and
shitty movie at a time.
It can be done.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
A few moments later.
Hey, welcome back to the movie snob, where I know movies, unless they suck. Here's the thing: I'm old. Okay, can you see? I got makeup on. I still get zits like a 12-year-old kid at McDonald's. I'm a kid from the 80s. Now, this channel, I have another channel where I just talk about music. And I don't know if you just heard that. Like my arcades. Or I just talk about music from the 80s. Now, I maybe I should just concentrate on the 80s. You see over here, I got some Smokey and the Bandit stuff. I got some Batman stuff. I got Back to the Future. I got arcades up here. This is my underground lair where I relive the 80s. But I want to talk about music. Now, why do movies suck now? Do you know why they suck now? Do you remember when I was a kid? I don't care what they are now. When I was a kid, going to the movies, it was an experience that you wanted to share with your family or friends. You basically, you'd have to get cleaned up, and you have to put on a pair of pants, and you'd have to drive to, say, a theater. You'd have to eat whatever it was they were passing off as food. Back then, you can get maybe nachos or popcorn or glossettes, maybe some chocolate raisins. You had to sit in a crowded theater in an uncomfortable chair, hopefully next to somebody you know, preferably not between somebody having a popcorn war, or even worse, people throwing nibs at each other. Remember nibs? Get one of those in the back of your head, you got brain damage for life. And you'd sit there and you'd watch, you'd get there in time. You wanted to actually see the trailers. You wanted to see, when I was a kid, they would play the Three Stooges or Bugs Bunny cartoon. And you'd sit there, you enjoy that. That was and then the accompanying attractions. Nowadays, what do you got? You got like some jackass sitting at the screen going, "Hey, can you get the name of this movie? F-O space est Gump." That's what you get now. And about halfway through the movie, it would be an intermission, and you could go pee, and you could line up to go pee, which was less disgusting than lining up to pee at a rodeo. And if you're lucky, suppose you might get a little, maybe a kissy poo, or if you're lucky enough to date Alanis Morissette, you get something better. And the movie's over, you scrape the gum off your shoe or the popcorn or whatever, because you don't want that in your car or your house. And you would talk about the movie you saw on the way home. Or you would talk about it the next day at work or at school. And that's what it was like when I was a kid. And then maybe next weekend you go see that movie again. Because the movie was so good that people wanted to watch it again and again and again. And then it would come on TV and you'd watch it again. Maybe you'd tape it. Maybe you'd wait until it came out on video 20 years later. And you'd buy that. Or you'd buy it on DVD. You'd buy it on Blu-ray. Double, triple dipping. Well, those days are gone, my friends. The good old days are gone. It'll never be that way again, and here's why. Back when I was a kid, movies were made to be watched again and again. They were made to sell theater tickets. Now, what they are is just some disposable crap, rehashed, rebooted, just to get people to renew their subscription to a shitty online streaming service. Nowadays, movies they're so dumb and so poorly written that they have to re-explain the plot line 75 times in a matter of an hour so that people are just sitting there. They can't pay attention for more than 30 seconds. They got the attention span of a gnat. And you have to keep re-explaining the movie. And that's why we have to keep doing reboots, because people are so dumb that they can't possibly comprehend a new and interesting story. So if you do see a movie that comes to the theater that you actually want to go see, you don't even want to go, because all there is a bunch of jackasses sitting there live streaming the damn thing on their TikTok machines or their Twitters, or their live streaming. They're making phone calls. They got their screen glowing in front of you the whole time, kicking the seat. There's the ass-kicking section and the non-ass-kicking section, which either way, I don't want to go there. I've been to 5 movies since COVID. I went to Ghostbusters Afterlife. I went to Indiana Jones. I went to Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I think I saw John Wick 4. And I saw Mandalorian a couple weeks ago. And I loved all of those movies. So I wonder what it is that I'm missing. What is it I'm missing that nobody else liked those movies? Is it because they're too, oh, you have to sit there and pay attention to the plot line and what's going on? Were they too woke for you? Did they include people of various denominations of gays, trans, different invisible friends that somehow offended you and you couldn't go to it? Get the fuck over it. So you know whose fault this is? Netflix. And even worse, it's Blockbuster's fault because they could have bought Netflix 20 years ago and they chose not to, and then Netflix became the juggernaut of shit that it is today. All they churn out is shit. And when you finally get something that's good enough to watch, like The Burrows, which I love because to me, I'll just get right on a tangent about The Burrows. The Burrows had Alfred Molina and it had Gina Davis, Bill Pullman, sci-fi actors of yore. And it was like Stranger Things for old people. And you know what I loved about it is maybe it wasn't original, but it paid homage properly. It even had little music cues that reminded me of Back to the Future, Alan Silvestri's music cues. So that's what I liked about it. It was smart. It was funny. It was interesting. It had people of my age. But they canceled that because it was good. Netflix now only makes movies or TV shows that are disposable. You wipe your ass with them. You watch them once and you forget about it 5 minutes later. You don't even know. You start scrolling through and you're like, hey, did we watch this movie? Maybe. And then you end up watching 10 minutes and you go, oh crap, I think we saw this. Because it's a piece of crap. It could have The Rock. It could have Ryan Reynolds. It could have any big star of olden times. But it doesn't matter because it's a piece of crap. Doesn't make sense. Has a plot line ripped off from some other shitty movie from 10 years ago, or it's another reboot, or it's another retelling, or it's a new casting. Let's cast it with people that are women now, or with black people. That's fine, but I don't have to go to it. Neither do you. So why do we have to complain about it? That's not the problem. But somehow the Netflix business model is working because I still have a subscription. And then so Disney did it, and Amazon did it. And Apple did it. And now we got like 4 or 5 subscriptions to shitty streaming services that have like 10 movies I actually want to see. And if there's one that you want to see, oh, you have to pay to see that. And then if there's an actual series I want to see, they only got like 4 seasons of 12. Like, what the, come on. Guys, Netflix sucks. So now, even if a movie is made to be seen in the theater, Avatar, it's disposable. The first Avatar was good. I like that one. That was still when movies were made to be seen in the theater. But the second one, I've seen it. Third one, haven't seen it. Nobody ever talks about Avatar. Nobody's excited to go to Avatar. It somehow makes $1 billion because everybody's kind of just on the treadmill like, oh, go to Avatar. And then the next day, hey, did you see Avatar? Maybe. I might have. I'm not sure. Was that about the blue monkeys? So when you actually have something new and interesting, or, you know, I'm okay with legacy sequels. I'm okay with that if they're done right. I liked Indiana Jones. I didn't like the English chick. Was she supposed to be like the new Indy? Like, I don't get that. But I still loved it because I loved Indiana Jones. I love Harrison Ford. The new Ghostbusters had some kids in it that I'd rather not ever speak to. But I still liked that it was Ghostbusters. It had people in it that I liked. Bill Murray was still in it. Dan Aykroyd was still in it. Ernie Hudson was still in it. I loved it. And The Mandalorian, the only other video I got on this channel right now is about The Mandalorian. I love The Mandalorian. I don't care about... Here's the problem. If you're over here... Now, I don't know how this reflects. This is my left. If you're on the left, people okay, you can be here. See, I'm in the middle. You can be here. But once you get this far, you start complaining about how, it's offensive to my kind of people. Get over it. And then you get over here, you're a little further over here. Oh no, there's people who believe in different invisible beings than I do. There's people of different color. There's people who enjoy other weird sex acts than I do. Get the hell over it. What? Back in olden times, movies were made for people to see them. It didn't matter if it was, you could be offended by it. Look at Mel Brooks. Everything he did was offensive, but it was done with love. You know, one of the best comedians that ever lived, Don Rickles. Everything he did was an insult. He insulted you for everything. You could be a little shorter than him. You could be taller than him. You could be a different race. Whatever. It didn't matter. He insulted everyone the same. And I hate everybody equally. That's the kind of person I am. If you're watching this still, and you haven't started whining in the comments yet, you're probably like me. Maybe you hate everybody equally. You want these guys to get the hell over it. You want these guys to get the hell over it. Just get along. Let's pretend we're in a Trailer Park Boys episode. There's gay people, there's trans people, there's whatever. Nobody talks about it because nobody cares. It doesn't affect me. I have never seen a dick that I want to suck, so gay people don't bother me. I don't care what you have on your head to signify your religion. I don't care. I just don't care. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me. But you have a problem. Let's talk about The Acolyte. Star Wars. Yeah, it was a piece of crap. But if you're offended at a show because it includes lesbians, shut up. Be offended because it's a piece of crap. Or if you're offended by The Last Jedi, because there's an Asian person or a black person in it, get the fuck over it. Be offended because the movie sucked. That's what we should be offended by. We're all just a bunch of jackasses trying to get through life without tasting the barrel of a shotgun. That's all we're trying to do. So who the hell cares? So if you're offended by this, you can be offended. You can be offended. Or we could just get the hell over it. We should just have everybody's backs. Now, is that still about movies? When I was a kid, you go to the movie, it was about the experience. Now, you can't, okay, Smoking the Bandit. I don't even know if you can see it. It's pretty. Here's a car. I don't even know if that was offensive because I was a kid and I was too dumb to get it. It's a terrible film, but I loved it. And I went to see it twice with my parents. I went to see the second one. I even saw the third one, which was garbage. It's about guys driving cars like assholes, drunk, to bring beer to other jackasses who are drunk. It was a terrible film, but I loved it. The experience was something I've always remembered. I will always treasure the experience of going to see it. Movies in the 80s were like that. You go with your friends to see the theater I went to see. Oh, man, there's a theater in my town. I'm from a small town, Lloydminster. And it's on the border of Alberta and Saskatchewan. They had the Mini Cinema 5, which was actually 3 theaters that they split to make it more movies. And I went to see, I was watching Poltergeist 3, and you hear, they didn't soundproof it very well. And you hear, Carol Ann, Carol Ann, Carol Ann, Carol Ann, Carol Ann, I'm your worst nightmare. So that's an experience that I remember. And I also remember, like 20 of us were going to see, we drove into town specifically to see Patrick Swayze in that Roadhouse movie. And when we got there, I saw that Star Trek V was playing, and I convinced one of my nerd friends to go to it with me. And so we enjoyed the worst Star Trek film. And then when we got in the car to go home, we got to hear about all the ass whooping and boobies that were in Roadhouse. But that's an experience I remember. Movies are meant to be an experience. You go to enjoy. You can recline all you want. You can have booze. You can have food. You can bring like lobster tails and escargots to the theater. But that's not going to make it enjoyable, and it's not going to bring people back to the theater if the movies suck. So if you keep making movies that sucks. That movies that suck, nobody's going to go. That's the problem. Take a lesson. Go back if you're somebody making movies, every movie studio executive weasel. Go back and actually watch Martin Scorsese or Spielberg until like 10 years ago. Watch those movies and Mel Brooks and take notes. They didn't care if they offended people. They just wanted to make the best movie with the best story. And if it offended a few people, nobody cared. And people who were offended by it usually just, whatever. It's a good movie. But if people who've been marginalized want to have their own movies, what's the problem? If they want to be included, what's the problem? Why can't we just include everybody? Why is that a problem? Why do you have to be offended by a movie because it includes somebody who's being punched down to? I don't see why that's a problem for you. Why can't we just all be equally sad in our lives and unhappy about how it turned out? The movie is supposed to be an escape for everybody. Everybody should be able to go to the movie and enjoy it. So if you're easily offended, just stay home. Just shut up. Quit your whining. Doesn't matter if you're over here. Doesn't matter if you're over here. If you're making the movie, you don't have to make the movie for everybody. Just try to make a good movie. The problem right now, they throw like $500 million into a piece of crap to make it all flashy and special effects-y, like the next Superman or Supergirl or whatever. But you know what? If it's a piece of crap, nobody's going to go. And even though I like The Mandalorian, they spent too much money on it. You know, how much did Star Wars cost? 20 million, maybe tops? Like 100 million today? It still would have turned a profit. But Mandalorian didn't because it cost too much. And too many people who complain about everything didn't go because going to movies is a shitty experience. And that's pretty much my point of the whole story today. So anyways, if you made it this far, please like, please subscribe, share it with your friends. I guess I could share a thing up in the corner here. She's a movie star too. If you're here because of the music snob, you know, I usually have a thing about Cher. But in the future, I'm probably just I'm going to talk about TV shows as well. I'm going to talk about 80s stuff and why they're better, because look around this stuff. Can you hear that every 5 minutes? Is that annoying yet? Oh, yeah, there. See, I got some corticates, and they're working, and it's like sitting in the basement of an arcade right now. So anyways, thanks for watching The Movie Snob. I hope I see you again.